If your no-show rate is more than 5%, you're doing it wrong. But luckily for you, today I'm going to show you exactly how I built this multi-channel appointment reminder system in n8n that automatically triggers at 24 hours, 4 hours and 30 minutes before any appointment, so you can cut your no-shows and keep your calendar full. After this, you will see your no-show rate plummet to a historic low. You will have consistent and reliable appointments, and most importantly, you will stop bleeding money that was already in your purse. First, I'm going to talk about what it means for you and your business if you have a high no-show rate. Then I will walk you through how the workflow works and how every single node is set up, so you know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. And lastly, if you stick through till the end, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can get this exact workflow 100% for free. Let's go. First of all, what does it mean for your business if you have a high no-show rate? Well, high no-show rate means wasted time, lost revenue, and frustrated staff. I think personally, the thing that would bug me the most is the wasted time and the lost revenue, because frankly, fixing the no-show rate is quite simple, and you wasted quite a bit of time, and you had potential revenue in the pipeline from like nurturing the lead, generating the lead, getting them to book an appointment, and then they just simply don't show up, which is quite sad. And the industry standard, the industry average is about 10 to 20%, but from personal experience and what I've heard from other agencies, other businesses I've talked to, is that in reality for most it's way higher. The reason for that is that most appointment reminder systems are actually single channel. So they either hit the lead up on, for example, phone only or email only, and it's more often than not also manual. I know quite a bit of businesses that just call leads manually, which is just a waste of time. Other ones use expensive SaaS products, which is just unnecessary since it's automatable so easily. The appointment reminders are not timed correctly, so they might remind the lead a day before the appointment, but to ensure that they actually turn up, you will have to remind them more often, or the system is not even existent, which is obviously the worst. Now, how does the workflow actually work? Well, it's quite simple. As soon as we get a new booking in our booking software, this workflow triggers. It then pulls all the contact information and appointment details from the actual booking, and then we remind the lead 24 hours out, 4 hours out, and 30 minutes before the meeting. These times can be subject to personal preference. However, we use these times because Alex Hormozy, you might know him, he's the G. He always talks about reminding the lead as often as possible and on the same day of the meeting, so 4 hours out, and right before the meeting, so 1 hour to 30 minutes out of the meeting. And then we have the multi-channel approach. So we remind the lead via email, we remind them via SMS, and we also remind them with a call. And all that is fully automated. So you don't have to touch a single thing. It's completely automated. So the appointment is being booked, everything in the back end is being handled, and the lead just turns up to the appointment. And with that, before we get into the actual build, my name is Tim, I'm the founder of Eximus, and if you want me to set this or any other automation up for you, use the second link in the description down below to book your AI growth strategy session, and we can get the ball rolling. Let's go. And now let's get right into the build. This is the start of the workflow. We receive the data via a webhook. For that, we can click into here. To set up the webhook, you have to have the HTTP method set to post, and then you can name your webhook or stick with this. And then you will go to production URL and copy this to your clipboard. And then you will go to your appointment booking software of choice. I personally use cal.com. So I will go over there and I will choose the appointment type I want the appointment reminder to act upon. And I will go to webhooks, new webhook, and then I will paste the URL here. I can change the event triggers if I wanted to and do some other settings. However, we would just click on create webhook right now. I won't do this right now because my system is already working, but as soon as you click on create webhook, it should work for yourself, and then you can go back to your workflow and just listen for a test event. In order to trigger that, you will have to go to your booking site and actually manually put in an appointment to trigger it, but then it should work. And that's the receiving the data part. Next, we have an if thing, which just checks if the trigger event that actually called it the webhook URL is booking created. If it's the same, Then we will continue the workflow. Next, we just have a data field, which just stores all the data and just gives it a clear name. So we have this beautiful output, which we can just map in the following. The next step is a code node, and the code node does one singular thing, which is it outputs everything we have in the edit fields from the left side, but it also creates a formatted version of the start time, the end time, and the time zone of both the attendee and the host. This is just so we can use these informations in the next steps. For example, if we send the email, we don't want to send the email in this format here because nobody actually wants to read that, but we can send the email in a readable format, which would, for example, be this here. The next step is a Gmail node. This Gmail node is just the confirmation email that the booking was created. This here is both the same email because I booked actually the appointment with this email. Normally this email here would be the email address from the person that booked the meeting, and this is your email. You will just have to change that. Then we have the subject line with just like a personalized line that says a new AI growth audit booking between the attendee, so the person who booked the meeting with you, and your name. Obviously you can change this line to whatever you want it to be. And the same goes for the message down here. I made this message to be written in HTML, and I will just pull my email in so you can see how this message looks like in production. So this is how it would look like. I've just put some dummy data in, so don't really mind this here. But we have the heading, we have the attendee, which is the person who booked with their company, with their phone number, with their specific solution in mind and their budget. That are just the custom fields I have if you want to book a meeting with me. So if I go to my calendar link and I have to, choose a time, then these are the informations I want the leads to input. And these are also the fields that I want to have in the confirmation email. Then we have the time, which is in the readable format, which we generated with the code node. Then we have the meeting link for the Google Meet, so the lead can instantly, join from this email. And then we have the host name and the email address. And obviously you can customize this message too. It might look a bit complicated here with the HTML format, but I will clean this up so you can edit this more easily. And otherwise just give it to ChatGPT and he will have no struggle in customizing this to you. Then next we have a notification again, but this is internal only. This only goes to me via Telegram. And if we go into here, then we can see the chat ID, which I have hard coded here. And then we can see the message here again. This is how it will look like without being parsed. And this is what the message will look like if it is being parsed. So this is the message, how it will be in my Telegram channel. If you want to have a notification sent to your Telegram channel, obviously you have to connect your credentials yourself, and you will have to put in your own chat ID. In my last video, actually, I talked about how to create a Telegram bot and how to connect it with n8n. So if you don't know how to do that, definitely go and check it out. I will put the link up here somewhere. I will not go over this now, but yeah, this is definitely helpful for myself because I'm not on Gmail all the time, but I get a notification on my phone if a Telegram message comes in. So this will get me up to speed immediately. And then before splitting everything up, we have another code node, and this code node, based on the start time of the meeting, calculates when the appointment reminders should take place. So we calculate the 24-hour appointment reminder, we calculate the 4-hour appointment reminder, and we calculate the 30-minute appointment reminder just by subtracting the amount of hours from the actual start time. And what the result is you can see here, we have 3 outputs: the 24-hour reminder, the 4-hour reminder, and the 30-minute reminder. And these are necessary for the next step, because the next step now goes into the actual appointment reminder flow. So after the code node, in each of the lines, we have a pause. And this pause will only continue outputting data at a specific date and time. So the code node will execute and will route one item to each of the pause nodes. And these pause nodes won't do anything until this specific time and date is reached. And obviously for the 24-hour reminder, we input the 24-hour reminder time into here. So as soon as we hit this date and time, this node will execute and then go into the rest of the flow. And the same is true for the 4 hour before and for the 30 minutes before. The only difference is obviously in the 4 hour before node, we have the 4 hour reminder time, which is different from the 24 hour reminder time. And in the 30-minute before node, we have the 30-minute reminder time, which is also obviously different from the 4 hour and from the 24 hour reminder time. For the 24 hour workflow, what we do next is we send an email. This email is the 24-hour reminder for the AI growth audit, which is my appointment type, my name. So the host name is coming up. That's just the subject line. And then we have the body down here, which is just hi attendee name. This is a friendly reminder that your session with Tim, so with myself, is coming up in 24 hours. Here's the meeting link again. So we paste the meeting link here again so they can access from this email. Then we have a respond to webhook, which is just here for good measure. And the first two nodes are quite identical for the 24 hour and the 4 hour workflow. So 4 hours before the appointment, this will evaluate to true and will execute this node. Therefore, trigger the Gmail, which is just the 4 hour reminder that the session starts soon. By the way, both of them have the attendee email, which we have mapped to this edits field in the very beginning. So this is where we get the data from. And then again, we have the HTML body, which just says, hey name, just 4 hours to go until your session with Tim. Here's the meeting link again. So we definitely want to make sure they have access to the meeting link. And then we also send an SMS this time. So this is a Twilio SMS. For that, you will have to set up a Twilio account and connect it with N8N, and then you will have to purchase a phone number, which if you do voice AI, you probably already did that. If you don't, write down in the comments if I should do a video on how that actually works, and I will do one. But again, for that, you need a phone number, which you will just put in here, and then you will put the attendee phone number in the to field. You could also send this to WhatsApp, but we want this to come through as an SMS. And then we have, hey, name. Just a quick heads up, your AI growth session with Tim starts in 4 hours. Join here. And then we have the meeting URL again. And then we have the respond to webhook. And for the last time, for the 30 minutes before, we have the reminder SMS, which is same setup, the from phone number, the attendee phone number, and then we have again, hey, attendee name. Just a quick heads up, the session is 30 minutes out. Join here. Then we have the meeting link again. And here is where this differs. The next thing is a reminder call, which is an automated call. This is optional. I put it in because calls tend to have a higher pickup rate or higher read rate, I guess, than emails and SMS. So we will call the lead with Vapi AI. If you don't know Vapi is an AI voice agent platform with which you can build, as the name suggests, AI voice agents that call leads completely on autopilot. It's like talking to ChatGPT, but just with voice and over the phone. And this can be insanely helpful for us business owners. And with this, we can make outbound calls, we can receive inbound calls. But for this use case, we want to make outbound calls since we want to call the attendee and remind them of the appointment. To start, you will have to sign up and then you will land in a dashboard that looks something like this. What you are gonna do next is that you're gonna need an API key. So you go to API keys and you add a key. And obviously you want to copy that key. I will use mine key that I have already here, but you need this key and then you will go back to the workflow and you will paste your API key here. After the bearer is where you're gonna paste your API key. I won't do it because you will gonna see it and I don't want that. The only thing you would then have to change is that you go into the JSON here, and I have 3 tools here. These tools are already set up in my dashboard. I'm gonna make a video that goes about these tools, but these are tool IDs. For now, just copy this part here, including the comma, and delete it. This is just functionality for the AI voice agent to book appointments, rebook appointments, and query basically my calendar for open slots. And this is important if you want the AI agent to have the functionality of actually being able to book appointments. In this case, since we're only calling our attendee, we don't really need the ability to book appointments. We might need the ability to reschedule appointments, but in most cases, this will just work and the attendee just knows that the appointment is coming up and has actually time. So for now, we will just not use the tools. You might want to include them in future. Just don't worry about them too much now. And with that, we respond to the webhook in the beginning again, and that's the whole workflow. That's everything that happens under the hood. And obviously this is modular. So if you want the appointment reminder paths to somehow behave differently, you are free to change anything. So if you go in here and you say, okay, I don't like that we only have an email sent here, but I also want an SMS sent here, you are just gonna move this to the back. You can copy this part, put it into here, make it look beautiful, obviously, and then connect the Gmail, connect the Twilio to this webhook response, and then you just change the actual SMS. So it says 24 hours out, and then you have an SMS more. And all of the copy should be addressed by you, should be business specific for you, and also use case specific. So definitely feel free to, change anything. Just make sure that all these expressions, everything in curly brackets, stays true, and when executed is green. In this case, it's gray because the path hasn't been executed up until this point. But if you check this, for example, here everything is green, so it actually works. And that's what we want. Now, if you want me to do a video on how to include the correct tools for the Vapi call and how to connect Twilio to N8N, definitely drop a comment down below and tell me to do so. I told you guys that I'm gonna tell you at the very end of the video how you can access this N8N template completely for free. And it's quite simple. You just access it through the very first link in the description down below. It's a link to my resource hub where you can find other N8N workflows, Mac.com workflows, Vapi voice agent tutorials, prompting templates, all that kind of stuff, completely for free. All of that will save you hours and hours of setup time and headaches. You just have to connect all of your credentials and then you're literally done. And if you'd rather have me set this multi-channel reminder system and other voice agents and automations up for you and your business, check out the second link in the description down below. There you can book your AI growth strategy session and we can get something rolling. If you like this video, definitely give it a like, subscribe to the channel for more, and leave a comment with what you want to see next. And I'm gonna see you in the next one.